No one tells you how lonely it can feel after 60, or how your body whispers truths your mind tries to ignore. No one prepares you for the silence that follows 60. They don't tell you how loud your thoughts can become when the house is quiet, how the phone doesn't ring as often, how the days stretch longer when no one's waiting for you. They don't mention how the body, once so obedient, starts to speak in aches and hesitations, whispers you try to ignore. You brush them off, thinking, "I'm fine, I've been through worse," until one day you realize you've been putting yourself last for too long. But here's the truth, there are things we avoid that quietly erode the peace we worked decades to earn. Not mistakes, not failures, just overlooked realities that can cost us more than we think. What if I told you that ignoring just 5 simple but powerful truths could turn your golden years into a time of regret, isolation, or pain? Not because life is cruel, but because we never paused long enough to listen. Let's talk about what no one else is saying, but everyone needs to hear. Truth number 1. Ignoring your health will cost you your independence. You ever brush off a little stiffness in your knees? Or tell yourself that the shortness of breath is just because you're tired? That your back pain is just part of getting older? Nothing serious? That's what James thought too. He was 68, retired, worked hard his whole life, never complained, never took a sick day. He noticed the chest tightness when he climbed stairs, but he told himself, "It's just age." The headaches came more often, but he figured it was nothing a nap couldn't fix. Then, one morning, he collapsed trying to put on his socks. By the time his daughter rushed him to the hospital, the doctor told him he'd had 2 minor strokes. Silent ones. Ones that could have been prevented if he'd just listened, really listened, to what his body had been trying to tell him. That's the thing, isn't it? When we're young, we think we're invincible. We ignore the soda, the skipped meals, the late nights. We power through the pain, the stress, the signals. But aging doesn't let you hide anymore. Every choice echoes louder. Every neglect has a cost. And here's the harsh truth, if you ignore your health now, you're gambling with your freedom later. Not just your freedom to move, but your freedom to live on your own terms. To drive yourself to the store. To pick up your grandchild. To dance, to garden, to walk down the street without fear of falling or forgetting where you were going. This isn't about looking young. This isn't about abs or wrinkles or what size pants you wear. This is about control. The kind of control that lets you stay in your own home, cook your own meals, enjoy the life you built without relying on someone else to do it for you. And I get it. The idea of changing your lifestyle feels overwhelming, especially if you've spent 60, 70 years living a certain way. But I want you to know something. It's not about overhauling everything overnight. It's about small, quiet, consistent steps. Can you walk for 15 minutes a day? Not speed walk, not run, just move. Walk around the block, walk through the mall, walk to your favorite tree in the park and back. Let your muscles stretch and your lungs expand, because every step tells your body, I'm still in this. I still care. Can you book that checkup you've been putting off? I know doctor visits aren't fun, but catching something early is the difference between a pill and a hospital bed. Between independence and assisted living. Don't let fear of bad news keep you from staying in control of your own life. What about the food on your plate? I'm not saying never enjoy a slice of pie again. Life should still taste good. But maybe, just maybe, you swap the processed meats for grilled chicken once a week. Maybe you replace soda with water. Maybe you try a vegetable that scared you as a kid. Your taste buds have changed. Your body has too. And let's be real here, we're not doing this to extend life just for the sake of existing. We're doing this so that the years ahead feel good. So you can wake up without dread. So you can tie your shoes without groaning. So you can get out of bed and not feel like your body's been at war with itself overnight. You didn't come this far to become a prisoner inside your own skin. You've worked too hard. You've raised families, built careers, survived heartbreak, loss, and decades of noise. Now is not the time to fall silent when your body speaks. Your body doesn't want perfection. It wants attention, respect, a little bit of love. And I want to ask you something, just you and me here, what's one small health choice you made recently? Maybe you chose water instead of soda. Maybe you stretched this morning. Maybe you made the doctor's appointment you've been dreading. Share it in the comments. Don't be shy. Your decision, no matter how small, might be the push someone else needs to take their first step. Because here's the truth, you are not too old. It is not too late, and your health is not a lost cause. We're going to talk about 4 more truths in this video, but none of the others will matter if you lose this one. If you don't protect your health, the rest, your passions, your freedom, your peace, they all become harder to reach. You deserve more than survival. You deserve to thrive. And that starts right now with one small decision. Just one. Make it today. Truth number 2, loneliness is more dangerous than people think. Did you know that loneliness can increase the risk of death by nearly 29%? That's not just a statistic, it's a silent epidemic. And unlike a fever or a limp, loneliness doesn't show up with symptoms you can easily explain. It hides in plain sight, behind polite smiles, inside quiet homes, beneath layers of "I'm fine." But it weighs on the heart like grief. Let me tell you about Harold. He lost his wife of 47 years, Margaret, 2 years ago. She was his anchor, his rhythm, his Sunday coffee and Wednesday crossword partner. After she passed, Harold's world shrank. He stopped going to church, stopped answering the phone, stopped opening the curtains. He said it felt like everything lost its color. One day, he wandered into the local community center. Not even sure why. Maybe he just wanted to hear another voice. That one visit turned into weekly bingo nights, small talk over coffee, eventually a chair in a book club. He wasn't sure what to say at first. But one woman leaned over during a game and said, "I lost my husband too. Let me show you how to cheat at this game." They laughed. They laughed like they hadn't in years. That moment cracked something open. Harold didn't get his old life back. But he got a new one, slower, softer, but real. One filled with names he began to remember, routines he started to cherish again. He even bought a dog, named her Maggie. Loneliness isn't just sadness. It's dangerous. It seeps into your memory, your energy, your willingness to live. It chips away at your sense of purpose until every day feels like waiting for something that doesn't come. It's been linked to cognitive decline, depression, and even weakened immune function. And it doesn't always come from being physically alone. You can feel lonely in a crowded room. You can feel invisible while surrounded by family. It's the ache of not being understood, of not having anyone to share your day with, even the boring parts. But here's the thing, there are ways out. It's not easy. It takes courage, maybe even more courage than you think you have left. But it is possible. Start small. Join a book club even if you don't finish the book. Volunteer at a local food bank, not because you need something to do, but because someone might need you. That sense of being needed, it can heal things inside you that words alone can't touch. Technology can help too. There are online communities built for people just like you. Late bloomers, new starters, folks figuring life out in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. People who want real connection without judgment. Reach out to that old friend you lost touch with. You know, the one. The friend you think about every now and then but haven't called in years because, well, life happened. Do it. Send the message. You might be surprised at how ready they are to hear from you. You are not meant to fade into silence. You were never meant to disappear in your own story. You are not a supporting character in someone else's life. You're the main character in yours. And I know the world feels faster now. Everyone's busy. Everything's online. But that doesn't mean you're forgotten. Doesn't mean there's no room for you. It just means the way back to connection might look different than it used to. And that's okay. I want to hear from you now. Have you found ways to combat loneliness? Have you found places, people, even pets that make you feel seen again? Share it in the comments. Someone might read your words and feel a little less alone today. Someone might say, "That's exactly how I feel," and take their first step back into the world. This isn't about pretending everything's okay. It's about remembering that your story is still unfolding. That laughter is still out there. that someone is waiting for a friend just like you. So don't wait. Your next chapter doesn't start later. It starts the moment you decide you deserve more than silence. Truth number 3. Financial denial can lead to fear and dependence. Do you know where your money goes each month? For many, the answer to that question is a vague guess at best. Some might say, I'm not sure, or I just pay what I can. It's easy to brush financial matters aside when you've worked hard your whole life. You might think, I've done my part, I've earned my way, I'll just get by. But if there's one thing that can strip you of your peace of mind in your later years, it's the looming anxiety of financial uncertainty. It's not just about not having enough, it's about losing control. And that loss of control can lead to fear, dependence, and even a loss of dignity. Let me share with you the story of Ruth. Ruth is in her 70s. Years ago, she found herself staring at a bankruptcy notice. The economy crashed, her savings disappeared, and she had to sell her home. She didn't know how she would manage, how she would face this new chapter. She was afraid. Afraid she had lost everything. Afraid that the future would be one long string of struggle. But then Ruth did something that turned everything around. She decided to face her financial reality head-on. She started small, writing down every penny she spent. She built a budget from scratch. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. She made difficult decisions. She downsized her home, moved into a smaller apartment, and sold things she no longer needed. She didn't just declutter. She redefined her life. Every sale was a step toward reclaiming control. She began to notice patterns, where her money was going, where it wasn't needed. Slowly, Ruth gained a sense of security that she hadn't felt in years. And then, something beautiful happened. Ruth found peace. The constant weight of worry began to lift. She learned to live within her means, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She had the dignity of knowing she was in charge of her future again. It wasn't easy. It didn't happen overnight, but it did happen. And Ruth now looks forward to each day with a sense of control. So why does this matter? Well, the truth is, financial denial can lead to more than just missed bills. It affects your independence. It affects your ability to make choices freely. When you don't know where your money is going, you don't know where you're headed. That's a scary place to be, especially as we age and face the prospect of retirement. But you don't have to be in that place. You can take charge of your finances now. Start by making a simple budget. It doesn't need to be complicated, just track what comes in and what goes out. Make sure you're putting aside a little bit for yourself, even if it's just a small amount each month. It's about creating a habit of control. You don't need to be a millionaire to feel financially secure. What matters is that you have a plan. Next, think about downsizing or decluttering. No, you don't have to sell everything or move into a tiny house, but look at what's really necessary. Are there things in your home that are taking up space and money? Sometimes letting go of physical clutter can clear your mental space as well. It's not about living with less. It's about living with intention. And finally, be mindful of scams. It's unfortunate, but as we get older, we become more vulnerable to financial fraud. Stay informed. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to say no when something feels off. You work too hard for your money to let someone else take it from you. Remember, it's not about having a lot of money. It's about having control over what you have. That's where peace of mind begins. So now I want to hear from you. What's one money habit you're proud of today? Maybe it's a small step, or maybe you've been budgeting for years. Whatever it is, share it below. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs to start taking control of their financial future. Let's continue this journey together. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress. Truth number 4. Holding on to the past keeps you from living now. Do you ever catch yourself thinking about the good old days? The days when everything seemed simpler, when you were younger, healthier, or when life seemed more predictable. It's natural to look back on the past with fondness, to remember the times when things felt easier, more joyful, or more secure. But when we spend too much time there, we can start to lose the ability to truly live in the present. We become stuck in the if-only mindset. If only I had done things differently. If only I had taken that job. If only I had been a better parent. Regret becomes a heavy weight that holds us in place, preventing us from embracing the life we're meant to live right now. Let me tell you about Sylvia. Sylvia is in her early 70s, and for years she held onto a deep grudge against her son. They hadn't spoken for over 2 decades. When Sylvia's son moved away to another city after a difficult family dispute, Sylvia couldn't let go. The pain of that breakup, the feeling of abandonment, kept her locked in a world of anger and regret. Every birthday, every holiday, Sylvia would think about how things could have been different. And every year the anger seemed to grow. But then, something shifted. One day, Sylvia found herself reading a letter from her son, written on his birthday, filled with apologies and a longing to reconnect. Sylvia read it over and over, and for the first time, she thought, maybe it's time to let go. She reached out to him. The conversation wasn't easy. There were tears, words left unsaid for so many years, but there was something else: forgiveness. Sylvia realized that by holding on to the past, she was robbing herself of peace. She wasn't just holding on to old wounds. She was holding herself back from healing. Let me ask you, how much of your life is still tethered to the past? Maybe you've lost someone, or perhaps your career didn't turn out the way you wanted. Perhaps you're still carrying guilt from things you wish you'd done differently. But you're not your past. You're not your mistakes. You are not the regrets that linger in your mind like shadows. You are the lessons you've learned. You are the wisdom you've gained from surviving those hard days. Unresolved pain, whether it's from old relationships, unmet dreams, or regrets, can become a quiet weight that affects our emotional wellness. It clouds our ability to see the beauty and possibilities right in front of us. It steals the joy from the present. But here's the good news: it's never too late to begin letting go. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget, it means you stop letting the past control your future. Journaling can be a powerful tool to help you process your thoughts. Write down the things you're holding on to, your regrets, your losses, your anger, and give yourself permission to release them. Write it all down, then let it go. Every word can be a step toward freedom. Counseling or talking to a trusted friend can also help. You don't have to carry these burdens alone. Sometimes just voicing your pain can lighten the load, allowing you to see that it's possible to move forward. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to let go of some of the roles you've been holding on to for so long. You might have been a mother, a caretaker, a boss, a partner. Those roles shaped you, but they don't define you anymore. You're not bound by the expectations of others or the past version of yourself. You're allowed to embrace new roles, whether that's the role of a joyful retiree, a lifelong learner, a traveler, or simply someone who gets to enjoy the beauty of living without being defined by what you've done. You are not the mistakes or the mischances. You are the lessons you've learned. You are the wisdom you've gathered. You are the rebirth of all the experiences that have made you stronger, more resilient, more compassionate. You don't need to carry the past around as a heavy weight. You can release it, and in doing so, give yourself permission to live fully in the now. To live with freedom, with joy, with a sense of possibility that only comes when you let go of what no longer serves you. I want to hear from you now. What's something from your past that you've been holding on to? And more importantly, what would it look like if you let it go? Share in the comments below. Maybe your story will be the spark that helps someone else begin to heal and embrace the freedom of living fully in the present. You are not defined by what you've lost, what you didn't do, or the dreams that slipped through your fingers. You are defined by your strength to rise, to grow, and to embrace the beauty of today. Truth number 5. Ignoring passion will starve your soul. When was the last time you felt alive doing something just for you? Take a moment to think about that. When was the last time you did something simply because it brought you joy, not because you had to, or because it was expected of you? Life often gets busy with obligations, responsibilities, and caring for others. But somewhere along the way, we forget to nurture the one person who's always there, ourselves. Let me tell you about Ben. Ben was 67 when he first picked up a paintbrush. He had always admired art from a distance, But life had always been about work, family, and survival. Retirement, at first, felt like a breath of fresh air. But soon, Ben realized something was missing. He felt adrift, like he was going through the motions, but without any spark. One day, while walking through a local art gallery, Ben felt a pull to the canvas, to the colors and the possibility. Something inside him whispered, "Why not you?" So, Ben signed up for a painting class. First, he was unsure. His hands didn't have the same steadiness they once did. The brush didn't glide like he imagined it would. But he kept going, and something extraordinary happened. The more Ben painted, the more alive he felt. The swirling of the paint, the blending of the colors. It was as if he was discovering a new part of himself. It wasn't about creating a masterpiece. It was about reclaiming his joy, his purpose. Painting became more than a hobby, it became his soul's food. Now, Ben's painting hangs in his living room not as a perfect piece of art, but as a reminder that it's never too late to find something that makes you feel truly alive. And what's even more remarkable is the change in his overall health. He started feeling more connected to his body, more engaged in life. His friends noticed he was more energetic, more present. His new hobby became a new source of joy that kept him from the creeping shadows of depression. Why does passion matter, especially in our later years? It's simple. Having something that lights you up, something that's just for you, fights depression, boosts mental health, and improves cognitive function. When we have a purpose, no matter how small or big, it fills us with energy. Passion sparks a sense of fulfillment and helps us reconnect with our deeper selves. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity. And it's never too late. If you've been putting off a dream or a desire, whether it's learning an instrument, taking a dance class, or even something as simple as gardening, now is the time. You deserve it. What's on your bucket list? Have you made one yet? If not, it's time to start. Dream big, learn something new, pick up that paintbrush, or take up that hobby you've always thought was too late for you. It's not too late. You don't have to be great at it. The point isn't perfection, the point is to feel alive, to ignite a spark within you that says, yes, this is me. Passion isn't just about doing something, it's about feeding your soul. It's about living with energy, with excitement, with purpose. And here's the best part, it doesn't matter what age you are. Passion doesn't discriminate. Whether you're 60, 70, or 80, your heart is still capable of burning with new desires, new dreams, and new experiences. There is no expiration date on joy. So, I want to know from you, what's something you've put on hold? Maybe it's a dream, a hobby, or a passion that you've forgotten about or thought was too far out of reach. Let's dust it off together. Share your story in the comments. What's one thing you want to try or learn just for you? It's not about making it a big deal. It's about taking that first step towards something that will fill you with joy. You deserve that. If this message spoke to you, if you felt the weight of these truths and know deep down that change is possible, you're not alone. There's a whole community here, people just like you, ready to embrace the next chapter with strength and purpose. So, hit that subscribe button, share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, send it their way. Let's walk this journey together, because you're never too old to start living fully.